Good morning or good evening, my friend, whenever you're watching this tonight. I have a little surprise for you. At about 1 hour from now, I plan to shoot this video for a full hour of how to follow bedtime stories to fall asleep. After 1 hour, I have a little surprise to show you, so stick to the end to find out what the surprise is, or just skip ahead, which it won't be that satisfying, but hey, you do what you want, so let's get started. Let's get drowsy together. So, continuing now today with Conor McGregor. I decided to continue a little bit longer with this man, this bio of his. Do you remember where we left off last time? Let's see where we did. We'll leave off right here at Straight Blast Gym. We are now. Get cozy, get comfy in your bed or outside your bed, wherever you are. Let's continue with our story of the notorious and some of the other MMA fighters. As we found out, this is kind of a story not just about Conor McGregor, but also some other fighters included here. I'm gonna focus on Conor McGregor because he's on the cover after all, but if every now and then we find out something about someone else, that's a bonus in and of itself. That's kind of cool as well. So, let's see. From 2008 until 2014, there was no reason to believe that McGregor could make a living wage from mixed martial arts, even if he were the best fighter who had ever lived. When his parents implored him or asked him to go back to the site, his response was to sleep in. The slight meaning back to his job as a plumber. If you remember from last time, McGregor and his parents, they had kind of a disagreement about what he should do with his life. Parents want him to have a normal 9-to-5 job. McGregor, he wants to be a fighter. Someone who goes with his gut, goes after what he wants. But there is obviously a little bit of disconnection going on there. So, he recalled that his father Tony would come in each morning and punch the head off his son to try to get him to go to work. Quitting the day job and telling the boss to take it in and shove it in is a dream for anyone with a more consuming passion on the side. It was the action of someone who is dead serious about fighting. But it just didn't match up with Conor McGregor's behavior after his first loss. Disappearing from the gym without a word. Why? After his first... Yeah, that's right, if you remember also from last time, after his first loss, Conor McGregor disappeared from the gym. Where did he go? What happened to him? Did he go back to the safe zone, back to safety and to plumbing? Or did he do something else? Well, let's see. And by the way, I haven't read this biography before myself, so I have no idea. I've read a few pages along actually, just to make sure that this is gonna be interesting, but otherwise this is gonna be a surprise. So, behavior after his first loss. But it didn't just match up with Conor McGregor's behavior after his first loss, disappearing from the gym without a word. Then again, he was convinced that he was a future champion, and he had just had his illusion shattered by an unrated journeyman from Russia in slightly over a minute. But it just didn't match up with Conor McGregor's behavior after his first loss, disappearing from the gym without a word. Then again, he was convinced that he was a future champion, and he had just had his illusion shattered by an unrated journeyman from Russia in slightly over a minute, just as Kavanagh had questioned himself. Through the numerous obstacles he had run into the past 5 years, McGregor was now wondering if he had wasted a good portion of his life chasing his dream of becoming an elite fighter. And the truth was that neither was going to get an answer until they had dug themselves a good deal deeper into the hole. Sounds like it's gonna get interesting. Conor McGregor returned to the ring one more time in 2008 in December against a man named Stephen Bailey. It was a characteristically wild and woolly brawl. McGregor came out swinging, tagged his man up with a couple of knee blows and leapt in with a flying knee. Bailey grabbed a hold of McGregor and attempted to take him down, but McGregor stopped the attempt. A left hook cracked Bailey from the clinch, and Bailey attempted exactly what Sityenkov had done just a few months earlier. He pulled guard this time, though. McGregor was nowhere to be found. Bailey fell to his back and threw his legs up, but his opponent was already past them and consolidating side control. As Bailey squirmed, McGregor threw his leg over and mounted his man chest to chest with Bailey. McGregor waited for the opportune moment to posture up, and when he did, he began to rain down left hands after left hands, at which point Bailey quickly turned to concede his back. Bailey continued to row, but McGregor stayed on him like a backpack. He ended up underneath Bailey. Riding Bailey's momentum, McGregor released his control and came up on the top of the mound once again at the edge of the ring. This time McGregor snuck through his left hand before Bailey could row, and Bailey was left covering up. A storm of hammer blows followed, and as Bailey hung out of the ring underneath the bottom rope, McGregor continued to pound himself going between the middle ropes. The referee quickly waved the bout off. Conor McGregor rose from the canvas and ran on the one camera filming the bout at ringside, leaning through the ropes to press his face right to the lens. McGregor removed his gum shield and announced, "I am the fucking future." The young McGregor had turned around from a heartbreaking loss and won his next bout in emphatic fashion. Moreover, he had done so on the ground, the area where he, as a striker, had previously been advised not to mess around. He was rounding out his game rapidly and had transformed the loss from what had seemed to be the definitive answer on his potential into a challenge. In an interview in late 2008, one of McGregor's first, the young Devliner declared, "My name is Conor McGregor and I live in Vulcan. I'm a professional MMA fighter with a record of 4-1. Here McGregor was obviously including his raw amateur fight in the total. I'm an up-and-coming fighter, and without a doubt you will see me in the UFC in the near future. Without a doubt." But after 4 fights in the space of a year, Conor McGregor didn't appear on another mixed martial arts card until October 2010. What did he do those 2 years? Did he go back to plumbing? Almost 2 years to the day after his fight with Stephen Bailey, McGregor was in the gym. As often as always, he simply didn't compete. So what did he do? For 2 years straight, from 2008. From 2008 to 2010, McGregor was training. He was growing. He was upgrading his skill every single day in the gym, preparing himself, growing himself to become the man that he wanted to become. And that is what you can do as an evolver as well. See, McGregor, a lot of people hate him because he's this loud mouth talking about I'm the best, I'm this, I'm that. Well, yeah, a lot of people can boast about that, but do absolutely nothing to back those words up. How do you back those words up? How do you really truly become the best at what you want to do? Be an upgrader. Upgrade your skills over and over and over again, and that right there, you become who. By doing that, you can have what you want to have, and you can become whoever you want to become. Just as this man. I think that's what I like about him. That also that conviction, even before having the future already there, he has that conviction. By simply doing the thing, by simply training, he knows he's gonna get there. And it's not rocket science. It's Warren Buffett. He also likes to say one of the richest men on the planet. You might have heard of him. Warren Buffett, the Wizard of Omaha. He used to say, this billionaire, when he was 20 years old, he used to say, I don't think I ever doubted for a minute that I would be a rich man. You would see this across the plane among very, very successful people. They had this almost delusional self-belief, even before they had any sign of success, that they are going to be successful. And you, my friend, you are gonna be successful as well, as long as you keep going towards whatever you want to be successful at. You will do it as well. Now, continuing on with Conor McGregor. In 2009, something remarkable happened for the Straight Blast Gym team. The biggest show in mixed martial arts, the Ultimate Fighting Championship. They have these fun sounding names. The Ultimate Fighting Championship was held its first event in Ireland. Oh, that's kind of cool. Let me see something interesting. Here they go actually into some other fighters, talking about some other fighters. I'm gonna skip real quick and see where the story picks off and goes a little bit more interesting again. Give me a moment. Then we have some more fights, which I don't want to read too much about fighting, because like, if you want to fight, if it's about fight, it's much better to just watch it. But when it comes to stories about what happens, that's what I want to hear. The story, the drama, the passion, the drive. That's what I'm interested in. And if you want to read about fights and how they kicked each other and how they punched each other, you can totally get the book. Also, with his back on the ropes and his gas tank failing him. A lot of fighting we have here. Pages and pages. Here we go. During McGregor's downtime, his relationship with a certain Devlin had been growing stronger. Not just in the training gym, but also in the relationships, growing stronger. And that's how we grow, by the way. In our relationships, in our business, and in our health. These are pretty much the three primary areas in which we grow and evolve and upgrade. And as we do, life becomes better and we become the person, the people that we want to become. Now, with that profound statement right there, let's continue with the story. Devlin was a local from Woking town in the south side of Dublin and was already familiar with Conor McGregor on site when one night in 2008 he approached her in a Dublin nightclub. Excuse me. The two struck up a conversation and became enamored with each other. Essentially penniless and with few prospects, McGregor nonetheless won Devlin over with his wit and charm, and with a caring streak rarely commented on by those who only know him from his professional pursuits. McGregor's career decisions, or rather his choice to pack in his career to chase a ludicrous dream, would have turned most girls off. But Devlin respected his drive and often helped to spur him on during the moments of self-doubt that punctuated his career. Through the losses and the collection of unemployment benefits, even when he was establishing himself as one of the top fighters in Europe, McGregor was encouraged by Devlin. And by the way, just to take a pause right here, if you are someone who really likes somebody and they have a dream, they have a passion, something that really inspires them, and you support them, they are going to love you for that, whether as a friend or as maybe something else. Regardless whether it's a passionate love or a friendly type love, being supported on your dream, that is one of the biggest gifts you can give somebody. Devlin's Peugeot 206 became something of a legend in its own right among straight blast gyms inner circles, serving as McGregor's only means of transportation while also contributing significantly to his strength training regimen. Passengers in Devlin's car were often required to get out and help him Just a moment. Passengers in Devlin's car were often required to get out and help give it a running start. Yeah, doing some exercising with that car, pushing it onto the road. In an interview in May 2015, once McGregor mania had begun to sweep the MMA world in earnest, McGregor gave an interview to VIP magazine and admitted, "She'd drive me to the gym and she'd listen to all my dreams. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for her." He would later state that his dream had always been to take Devlin out of work and never ever worry about money again, having lived through the leanest of days in a cold flat with a penniless young nobody. While McGregor poured his heart and his soul into his work, into his art, he remained determined to end his career on a beach with Devlin and perhaps some children. While McGregor had once insisted in a television interview that he had no romantic side, he let it slip through briefly and sincerely in VIP magazine feature when he noted what did he slip through. Well, before I tell you that, I'm gonna take a sip of water or a glug of water because my throat needs it to continue with this story. So, just a moment right there. I like the color scheme. We have red and white over here, and see here, white and red. That's kind of cool, isn't it? Coming together, whiteness and redness. I just gotta get a Santa Claus suit in white and red as well, and we are riding in the jingle bells, jingle bells. there we go. Intro 3. Let's continue. He let it slip through briefly and sincerely in VIP magazine feature when he noted, "I'm doing all of this for her." Also romantic. Now, let's see, there's some more just fights and kicks following here, so I'm gonna skip those. Triangle chokes, blood chokes. Yes, let's skip a little bit forward. Yeah. We're going to next chapter. I'll drag them back to Ireland. And let's see. I read just about 1-2 pages here just started this chapter last night to kind of figure out where do we continue from here, because chapter 2 of this book was just fights and fights and fights. Too much fighting going on, but chapter 3, the story picks up again with Conor McGregor. And just find out where exactly, because at the beginning there's some UFC history here. And history, while it may put you to sleep, I don't want to fall back to sleep. I want to read and be entertained. We weren't ready, we were just kids. Token. In his first interview with Ariel Helwani in April 2013, McGregor reflected on Egan's big fight and straight blast Jim's first experience in the UFC octagon. For a fighter with 4 bouts to get a shot in the UFC, especially at Egan's age, was largely unheard of, and it seemed to be a transparent attempt to throw an Irishman on a card that perhaps he didn't deserve to be on. McGregor had been invited on Helwani's enormously popular MMA Hour podcast in response to a flood of demands from Irish fans ahead of his own UFC debut. Helwani noted that McGregor was easily their most requested non-UFC guest in his time before signing with the promotion. Retiring Tom Egan's inexperience at the time of his octagon debut, McGregor was keen to point out that he would be making his first UFC appearance in Sweden, and so wasn't just a token Irishman. Yes, friends supporting friends. McGregor supporting Egan on his way, on his rise to the man that he wants to become as well. That's what good friends do right there. It was this interview that made many mixed martial arts fanatics outside his existing Irish fan base sit up and take note of Conor McGregor. His charisma was effortless and natural, even behind his braggadocio and one-liners. His cackling, high-pitched laugh served as a strange big words here, juxtaposition to the big game he talked about, being able to knock out anyone in the UFC at featherweight or lightweight. Midway through the interview, Helwani asked McGregor if he was single because he seemed quite a catch. McGregor responded that Devlin kept his head on straight. The interview took place over video chat, which McGregor had trouble operating, admitting he had never used it before, and D could be heard shouting from off-screen, "He is a catch!" McGregor's drive was obvious from his first major interview. His dedication came through, but so did his belief in his own destiny. He simply felt that success was his due. McGregor insisted that in his mind he was already the two-weight champion of the world. In fact, he had been the champion since before he began training, since the moment I came out of my mother. Justifying his statements, McGregor observed that some of the United Kingdom's biggest UFC stars had made their way to the big show through Cage Warriors, including Dan Hardy and Michael Bisping, and none of them ever had two titles. And I just remember that's what Muhammad Ali also used to say back in the old days, didn't he? Even before he was the greatest, he used to say, "I am the greatest." That self-belief, that self-assuredness, that is the drive, the fuel that you need before becoming the person that you want to become. Having that self-belief, that self-assuredness, yeah, just do the things, just evolve, just grow, and you're gonna get the castle in the sky. Just as you build it brick by brick every single day, you're gonna build it. That's how it happens. It might be an invisible castle right now, but as you keep going, as you keep growing, it's going to become a reality. So, going back to Conor and his confidence, manifested in this interview was a stark contrast to the goings on behind the scenes. What's going on behind the scenes? Since his sensational victory against Ivan Buchinger on New Year's Eve, McGregor had become a favorite among the most hardcore MMA fans, especially the Irish that night, and the knockout had wound up all over the internet, but he was still barely scraping by. Cage Warriors' first and only two-weight champion was still collecting social welfare. On the trip to the airport before flying out to Sweden, the Straight Blast gym team was held up by McGregor's making a stop at the post office to collect 190 euros to live on. That's basically about $300-400 to live on. Can you imagine living on just imagine that? Flat? At least half of that goes in the flat, and then he has food, then he has to pay for a phone, for an internet, with 190 euros. And also go to the gym, that's also expenses right there. He could have went back to safety, he could have went back to the job, but instead, did he do that? Or did he continue with fighting with his passion? Let's see what McGregor does. McGregor's coach John Kavanagh reported that McGregor had disappeared from the gym and from his teaching duties. Oh, in the aftermath of the Buchinger fight, as he struggled to acknowledge that he could be the most famous fighter in Ireland and yet still couldn't scrape together enough money to make a basic living. At his most candid, McGregor told Helwani and the many thousands of fans watching the MMA Hour, "We're broke as a motherfucker. We haven't got a pot to piss in." McGregor and his Straight Blast gym teammates could scarcely get by in their chosen profession. The most successful of the bunch was the Icelandic Gunnar Nelson. Hey, I hate to do this, but I gotta cut our episode tonight short because I need to go to work right now. But before I go, I wanna give you that surprise that I mentioned at the beginning, so check this out. Check this out. This is my city. This is Aalborg, in the land of Denmark. The happiest land in the world. So this is what I wanted to show you right here. Denmark, the city of Aalborg. A beautiful, beautiful place. Now, with that, next time I promise we're gonna have a longer episode, not just, what was this, 20 minutes, 15 minutes? This went by, our time together goes by so very fast. Next time again, we're gonna continue with Conor McGregor and have a longer time together, alright? Sounds good? Fantastic. So, from the happiest land, my name is Coach Vulcan, and I wish you a happy day and a happy night, a restful night.